Welcome to Under the Sisterhood, where we honor female experiences. During each episode, I will have intimate conversations with women of all ages to get under the hood of their individual journeys through womanhood. Together, we'll pursue the many aspects of the female experience, creating a sacred space for women to share their stories, their ideas, and their wisdom. This is a podcast to celebrate women and recognize all that they do in our world. I'm Elizabeth Elfenbein. Let's get under the hood. Today, I'd like to welcome and honor Hui Tang. Hui is a mother, daughter, sister, friend, advocate for women's rights, and a healthcare marketing leader specializing in data and analytics. She's a working mom, and when not working, Hui spends the rest of her time with her 7-month-old baby and husband. Being a first-generation immigrant, she enjoys exploring life in the States, but she also misses her family back home. Like all busy moms, Hui is learning the art of balancing the little triumphs, chaos, self-care, and the massive to-do list with grace. And so I'm so pleased to have you join me as a guest today. Welcome, Hui.
Thank you. I'm honored.
I mean, I just feel
I'm
this.
so excited to talk about sisterhood, the female experience, all the experiences that I've had growing up and working with you. I'm so honored and excited to hear.
Well, you're always part of my who shall we speak with? Who are the people who I think will have something really meaningful to say? And of course, I actually don't think there's any women who wouldn't have something to say about this. So why don't we get going? I mean, this is like such a sacred and important subject, and right now, probably even more so. So what does it mean being a woman to you mean?
I feel to me it changes over time. Obviously with my growth experience in the last over 30 years, but right now it's being acceptance and resistance, I would say. Having a strong sense of self-identity. That's me playing multiple roles. Like you said, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a co-worker, and accepting that my body changes over time. I take what I can take now, and being just open about anything in my life, and while also have a sense of resistance because I'm gonna run into obstacles or hurdles. I need to show. I need to be a role model for my baby, for my son, and I need to challenge myself. So yeah, it's being a woman is about being acceptance and resistance to me at this stage right now.
I think that's a really interesting way of looking at it. It's kind of very Zen, accepting and resistance and looking at yourself that way. And I think, I want you to expand on that a little more, because I think that is that philosophy of self-acceptance, internally. It's almost like the acceptance is how you feel within and what you're doing within, and the resistance is how you're being impacted on the outside, the external. So it's internal versus external, another way of looking at it. So tell me a little bit, that's such an interesting way of thinking about things. I haven't thought of that. So tell me a little bit about, like, is that philosophically sort of where your head's at? Is that how you think about things? Or, as you were thinking about coming into this interview, did that sort of come to you?
Actually, when we first chat about this interview, I actually thought about the whole being a woman, self identity thing. And I think you were right on spot. Being acceptance to myself is a more internal thing, and being resistant is more of an external thing. I think it for me is always trying my best to do things, and if it doesn't reach to the results that I expect the most, I accept that. Like after I have my baby, I accept that I do not have the same level of energy like I had when I was a teenager girl, or when I was 20 something. I accept that, but my body gave us such a beautiful life to this baby. My body did so much for me, and accept that it takes time to recover. I don't want to push myself so hard, but at the same time, I have this resistance, a sense of resistance that, I need to kind of feel the pain and feel the recovery, and I need to just, you know, put my workout schedule back on while with all the time and effort that I can. So it's always a balancing act, I would say. Um, I can't, yeah, I can't like just go like all the way in and then get angry at myself because I need to be patient with myself. I think that's what I'm working on now. And I think that's so important to to be there, to not be stressed out in a sense.
Well,
So
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, I mean, you just had a baby. You're doing amazingly well. You have a
yeah,
very exciting and dynamic career. You're managing all of that, and you do it with a smile on it with so much grace. And it's like you're such a great role model that way. And I think, letting go of those things that you can't really control. But I love the fact, I love
yeah.
the way you're thinking about it. I mean, that what a nice way to put it. Um, we're going to move into the second question, and this,
Okay.
I think it continues with the theme, but like, what has your female experience been like? Like, what age did you know, or did you start feeling like a woman? And what has your experience been like from that age to now?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it definitely changes over time. I think when I was actually an elementary school student or like a kid, I didn't have sense until I think it was around 9 or 10 years old. We had this human anatomy class at school, and teacher talk about, yeah, this is being a boy, this is being a girl, this is how you grow up, having different body parts. And then my mom started just telling me all of this. My both of my parents are like college professors, so they're actually pretty open about the sex education early on in my childhood. So I got pretty good sex education back then. And then um, that's like a basic thing, like the difference between a male and a female. But after that, um, I feel like especially after I came to the States, I know that, oh my God, there's, so much more than just the gender differentiations here. We got, especially in New York, you see so many movement about LGBTQ, this Pride Month every year, and I understand. Oh, there are so many like different cultures regarding the gender, but at the same time, I feel strong self-identity of being a woman. Like I embrace it, like same like I embrace everyone who is acceptance of their own identity, their sexual identity. So being a woman to me definitely evolves over time. Like, when I was in middle school or high school, I still have this thing like, I read in the book like, oh, you should be very good with the housework and like, being a mom, that's very important. But thankfully, my mom has been a very independent woman too. She's taught me like you need to have your own career. Uh, you need to have that mindset in your head that you cannot rely on anyone. So you need to build your own thing. So that drives me to like work really, really hard for myself, to find a job and just try my best to excel in the things I do. And I feel now it's about that, you have that level of independence while you also um, can be a good mother, can be a good daughter. And it's very hard, to be honest, especially when women go into 30 as you started having so many different roles. I'm still learning. Um, yeah, it's definitely an evolving process.
Yeah, well, evolution's an interesting thing, and I think there's so much thrust on women to
Mm-hmm.
the many different hats we wear and roles we play in society, in home, in work, and everything. And we have to do it with such empathy and care, and we're good at it. And so
Mm-hmm.
that puts a lot of pressure on us. And I was having this discussion yesterday, sort of about the pressures. Is it society putting it on us? Is it our family putting it on us? Is it our workplace putting it on us, or are we putting it on us? And
Mm-hmm.
it's sometimes it's probably a lot of both or all, a little of all, a lot of all. But I think the
Mm-hmm.
biggest thing is back to your earlier comment, is acceptance is really key, and just loving yourself and trusting yourself and believing. And I mean, I have to tell you, Wei, since I met you, there was no question in my mind that you would be hugely successful. You were a team player, you were gracious, you went out, you worked really hard to do an excellent job. And when you didn't know, you weren't afraid to, you either researched or what have you. I mean, so in terms of just working, and I believe the female experience, we like, I don't feel like you're different at work than you are at home than you are in your family. I feel like it's all intricately woven together, now at times it might, different things might come out in terms of your female experience in those different situations. But anyway, um, did you want to say anything? I'm sorry.
No, no, no. I just wanted to no, like I totally agree with everything that you said. And I've had my struggles like all the times too, like, being away from my family. Um there are like conflicts that I run into all the time. I am a doctor, I'm a daughter, and I'm a mother. So being away from my parents, that I can't be next to them, taking care of them all the time. And they have their own like um, life struggles, or they have fights, that they will come to me. So I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't be there with you, like by your side. So sometimes I do have this issue, like, oh, how do I be a perfect daughter and mom and everything else? And I can't do that all the time. So again, back to acceptance, like sometimes you kind of just have to set boundary for different
Totally.
time of the day, or even different time of the year. Like, this is how much I can handle. My life is like a glass ball of of stones, and I just have to figure out what stone I want to put in, what stone I want to leave out. So yeah, it's so
I think
hard.
it is hard, but I think you hit on a really important point, which actually should be a theme throughout all of this, is understanding boundaries. And like, you have a new family, and it doesn't mean you don't love your family that you came from. It's just that your new family, you have to, as a mother, protect, care, and create an environment for growth, and a nurturing environment. So that's a lot.
Mhm.
It's really interesting. Way, I mean, you are an absolutely stunning, beautiful woman. And have you had, like, from a female experience, have you had any, and this is a little off because I know that you didn't say anything, but have you been objectified at all? Because I feel like, because you came from such an intellectual family, of professors, that you might not even think that way. But, you are one of those. You could have been a runway model if you had so chosen, and that was just not you. Have you had any, from a female experience, any things happen regarding that?
It's yes, yes. The answer is yes. And I remember, I was actually in college, and when I actually got my first full-time job in China after I graduated from college, I was actually and this is the first time I talk about it in public. I was actually being sexually harassed by guys in both like college and work. And even like one time I work in on the street in New York, when I was on the way to meet my friend, a guy just like ran into me and kind of grabbed me, which made me super angry. And I think that the college and the work incidents was all before the Me Too um, movement, and I didn't know. And I think the first reaction was being shocked. Um, of course, I didn't know so much about being objectified at that time. But later, after I realized, oh, there's a whole thing about Me Too movement, I should have stood up for myself. And that gave me more power. I think that goes back to all the involvement of me being a woman, kind of have the self-realization, like when I should fight back, or when I should have, you know, like just realize it more. This is self-conscious kind of thing, like, oh, I should have said this, I should have done that. But at the time, at the moment, I didn't know what to do. So it's definitely a growing process for me. Now I look back and say, oh, maybe I could have handled it better by standing out for myself or getting more help. I wasn't actually, I'm not super depressed from that experience, but I have more understanding of my peers, my female friends. Maybe that's something a lot of us have experienced, and I have more empathy for all of us. It's quite annoying, and even in work, like, oh, I realized, oh, being a guy, you can be assertive and people would respect you for that. But being a woman, while you're being assertive, you can be viewed as, being very bossy, very bossy. So now I have to constantly remind myself that's not the case. Even the society think this way. Obviously, we recognize that society have progressed so much in the last couple of years, but these kind of views still exist, and it's my job as an individual um, to help kind of eliminate that, or at least to reduce that level of bias in the workspace or even in life, to help my female peers feeling more secure, feeling more supportive in that way. So I feel like it's all interconnected in that way. We need to help each other to feel less objectified, and yeah, building a better environment for women in general.
No, that's beautifully put. Oh my goodness. And just to give you a tiny bit of comfort, I myself was sexually harassed in a job, and I was in my early 30s. So my kids were 2 and 3 at this company, and it was a partner. And I actually had to walk out of the company. But the stories are unbelievable. Unbelievable
Hmm.
with this man. I mean, he did it to a number of different people, not at this particular company over his career,
Mm.
and of course I've had other situations, but this was like full on, and really a lot of
Mm.
anxiety. It was a really crazy experience, but all I can say is, I mean, that was back in the late 90s, and I look at where we are today, and we need to lean into our power. I always had a strong voice. I would tell his partners. I mean, I would take it to a degree. I would even defend myself with him when I was being blocked and locked into my office. And in any case, all I can say is that women need to lean into their power and have their voice. And it doesn't matter if you feel at all like your voice might be a little stronger. You have every right to have the same level of voice as your counterpart in the male in the office. And
Hmm.
it doesn't matter what it is. It could be just about teaching them about or presenting your data and analytics. You have your voice. You own that
Hmm.
because you have a right to. You're not
Yeah.
less than. And so it's really important. This next question will be a more fun one. Thank you for sharing that. And I'm sorry if I poked at
No,
something
not at
a little.
all.
I think it's really important because you are such a beautiful human being. And I think when you're really young, we just don't know better. Like, how do you, and I will tell you what,
No,
when it
exactly.
happens once by one person, you are shocked in the moment. You're like, holy cow. So what your response wasn't wrong. Your response was you were in shock, so
Yeah.
forgive yourself for that. Forgive yourself for that, because
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
don't think any woman, very rarely are you in a position to know exactly what to say in those moments, you know.
Yeah, I feel like so many stories that we've read today, like, oh, why didn't she do something? Why didn't she say something? I just feel like if you haven't experienced that yourself, you don't know the feeling at that moment. Because exactly like you said, like you don't have the best reaction. Thousands of things could be going around your head, like, oh, should I play it nice? Should I just like protect myself first and get myself out of the situation? Or like, should I be mad? Will I get hurt? So many like mixed feelings in that 1 second. So
And some
totally.
and sometimes you just go blank, but
Exactly.
it's it is not us for us to judge any of us. It's for us to protect
No.
and hold each other. This is when sisterhood really becomes very important, being part of a group of women who are out there and creating a safe space for us to all be part of. The next question's a good one. It's a fun one. So what would you tell your 18-year-old self? So imagine I, Elizabeth, am
Yeah.
Hui at 18. I wouldn't I would love to be Hui. I'm not sure I would have liked to have been in China, but maybe.
I
But
love to be
maybe,
you.
you know. So what would you tell yourself? Like, so here you are, a mother now, you're in your early 30s or 30. Like, what would you tell your 18-year-old self if you could go back in time?
My my so my 18 years old was pretty limited to just study because we know the college entrance exam in China is pretty competitive. There are just like thousands of thousands students trying to get into the college, and you get the best score as you can. So I was actually focusing on studying at that time, and I would want to tell the 18-year-old myself just to try more. Um, Nurture one interest that a hobby that you're really into, aside from all the study you do, because later in the life you will find it's so fun to have a hobby, no matter if it's painting or playing an instrument. That's gonna fulfill your heart so much than just studying. And just general rule is to try more, explore more, do more adventures, and have that, even like that mindset can help me to kind of see more perspectives in the life. And I guess that's, it's so hard to change even for like the kids in China nowadays, because there are just so many people and so competitive. Kids are just like sent to school and even sent to classes after school to study, and it's something that's hard to change from like a structural, like a society structural perspective. But now, like I look at my son, I want to help him to explore more, not like how I grow up. Of course, I hope he can be a good student. I hope he can get always being a tiger mom in myself, but at the
No
same
tiger
time,
mom, no tiger
no
mom. This
tiger
is this
mom,
is this is when Auntie Elizabeth comes in. No tiger mom.
no tiger mom. I know I need to take that part out and just be like, be you, and just try to experience all different kind of things. You're gonna have so much fun in your life. Life is about experience. So that's what I want to tell the 18-year-old myself, the 18-year-old me.
That's wonderful. That's really sweet. Yeah, it's hard because we can't go back in time, but we can apply what we've learned about ourselves on the next generation and really sort of unshackle them from that. And so, I think about that as it relates to my children and saying, I just wanted them. The only thing I asked of them was to try and be
Mhm.
their best selves. So if they weren't
Yeah.
capable of being a straight A student, don't be a straight A student, but give it your all. I had no, because I had so much academic pressure on me, and I was more of a visual, I was more of a creative student, not an academic student. And so a lot of pressure was put on me. And to your point, giving them a runway to explore everything. They played instruments, they traveled, they played sports, keeping them busy doing things that were really productive. And, but and then when your kid gets specialized in something, you want to still make sure that they're doing other things to have fun. And that's just
Exactly.
great learning. So I love what you said. Thank you for sharing that. This next
Mm.
question is, what do you think about being a woman in today's world? Like,
What do I think of being a woman in today's world? I think there are a lot of opportunities for women, and I do think there are a lot of challenges for women. I do think that the society has recognized that being a woman is so hard in today's world. Because realize it or not, it's still a society dominated by men, and we have so many challenges in different aspects of the life, but at the end of the day, we see opportunities where we can make improvement. I feel like I've have so many role models like you in my last job, in my current job, that I can look up to, and being a better version of myself, and just take all the opportunities that I can um, to be a better woman. But at the same time, I know that there are so many people out there, they don't have the privilege to get the health care that they need to even just pay the family leave, or feed their baby with the formula um with a formula shortage. So I feel like being a woman in today's world is, you have to kind of self-carve the way out for yourself, in a sense. Find those opportunities and get them, while also realize, you're gonna meet challenges, and you need to build a support circle for yourself. Um, whether it's your mentors, your friends, your family, you need to advocate yourself, and you need to find people who can advocate for you. So yeah, it's so much that I want to say, but I feel like it's such a big topic. Yeah, I mean, with so many technology and platforms, a woman can, if we like to stay strong together, we have a lot to be achieved in today's world. That's
Yeah.
all I can say for this one.
I think that that's actually your if we collectively we form that sisterhood, we work together. I couldn't agree more. Yeah, it is tough. I mean, it's interesting. I'm a little surprised that you didn't say anything about last week's which I'm impressed with, because I would have expected you to come out with the Supreme Court, like that you might have something to
So
say.
I'm beyond rage, to be honest. It's like a retrogress of the society. Yeah, I mean, it is a big topic, and for some reason, I got so angry, and I just like when I get so upset about something, I just got like to put it back in my mind. But yes, yeah, such a unfortunate event, and I know a lot of people make an angry donation to the organization, and I'm one of them.
Yeah, yeah, no.
Um,
I
yeah, yeah, it's how can we talk about controlling women while we don't give them even basic access to healthcare, and give them time to take care of a baby? Like, you're not really protecting women or baby, you're controlling us. Very disappointed.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I sort of got really angry. I mean, really angry. Like I just, I don't lash out. I meditate twice a day. I do all these things to remain calm and serene. And I had, a couple of days where I was just really off and just
Yeah,
so angry. And you're right. I put it right in the back because we have to move forward, but but we don't want to lose our voice in the process. So, and I think this next question kind of gets at that. It's sort of, it's interconnected, which is, what would you change if you could change anything to make life better for women?
I would say starting by advocating for women around me. Advocate for moms and working moms. Healthcare is a basic need for human beings. It's not some like political games that government can play. Working parents need to have paid maternity or paternity leave. Basic childcare needs to be provided for the families, and equality in pay, and really just advocating for my peers, so where I can. in work or outside the work. You know, I'm very active on Instagram, just trying to, you know, give a shout out to like everything that I care for, and there are so many platforms that we can use, you know, within work or outside work. Um, yeah, it's a sad week, to be honest. Makes me be more kind of determined that I need to do more to help all the women around me. Yeah.
Mm, I love that. I'm so touched by that. I have goosebumps. And I'll tell you something, it gets to the
Hmm.
next thing about sisterhood, but I want to just say women helping women. That's the theme. We need to help each other. And so the next question, and then I'll poke some more around that because I was going to right now, but you know, do you feel part of a sisterhood?
I do. I'm pretty lucky that, like I said, it's very important to build the support circle. So I feel really lucky that I built my support circle over the years, and I'm surrounded by sisters who support me and provide me advice where I need. They don't just like give me go, go, go. They actually give me true advice, like this is what you should go for. This is like where you should step back and like don't do that. So I feel pretty lucky, and yeah, like throughout my like college, high school, or like work, I have this great circle of friends. And I see that they all succeed in their own lives. That makes me want to do more for my life. They're in different industries, they're in different stages of their life, you know, either with or without kids, they're just living their best lives. And yeah, I'm definitely a part of sisterhood.
That's
Um,
boy, you're
yeah.
so lucky. That's wonderful to hear. It's been very interesting to hear people's answers for this. So I'm so happy for you. That's wonderful. Then you need to extend your arms and allow more people into that wonderful sisterhood.
Yes, I'm
S-
currently.
so this last you know, as we start to end our conversation, which of course I don't want to because this is just so near and dear to my heart, but if you were to give a message to women of all ages, of all backgrounds, culturally backgrounds in terms of, you know, identities, all of that, what would your message be? Why, this is your platform. You step up there and say, women.
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. Um, Let me think about that. Um,
We're in no rush.
I would say let your voice out. Whatever you're thinking about, um, let it out. Speak your mind. Um, and if you need help, speak it out. Let your voice out. Get support that you need. If you have questions, ask them. If you want to say hi to someone, get a new friend, let it out. You know, say hi, say can we talk? Can we chat? Can we be connected? I think everything goes back to let your voice out. Only by that can people hear us, can people um, value our opinions, and that's going to amplify. If we all speak out, speak up, the strength is unimaginable. It's gonna be amplified, and it's gonna be so great, and it's gonna be a great power um, that we unify together.
I love it. I love it. I couldn't agree more. Let your voice out, be heard. And I think that the whole notion of under the sisterhood is to create a platform, a space where women can be honored, they can be seen and heard. And I think it's about making women more visible, making them more heard, making them not just feel valued, but be valued. You can feel
Yes.
valued, but it's like it's valuing women and understanding everything that they do to make the world what it is. And so I think that's a beautiful answer to the question. So
Thank
thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. My heart
you.
is so full with this conversation, a lot to think about. It makes me see you in a very, we're connected on Instagram. Of course, we're connected in the heart, but I get to watch little Edison grow up. But I think more importantly, now I see you with this conversation, it allows me to see other sides of you. It's like peeling back the
Oh,
layers of you as a human being and as a woman, and, leaning into your strength, which you always seemed, pretty strong. So it's amazing. Thank you.
I'm trying to be, and I'm learning that from you and all the strong women out there. And again, I'm honored. I've explored myself so much because of this conversation. And this is some kind of version of me. I wonder like what's gonna be like when we talk in 1 year or 2 years. What's gonna be another version of me?
Oh, and you will come back. I mean, that's very interesting. And I also wonder where Under the Sisterhood will go. I mean, because so much opportunity for women to get under the hood, to have a voice, to be seen, to be heard, to honor each other, and to create this sisterhood of connection and support. And,
Yeah.
and so, my vision, I have a vision, which I laid out to you, but that's just the beginning. If it does what it does, it amplifies, it builds, it becomes exponential. The women's world becomes so much more powerful, and, the self-love and self-efficacy, such a good thing.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I can't wait to see what it grows up to, the sisterhood, the whole force. Yeah, it's so exciting.
Thank you so much, Wei. Thank you so
Mm,
much for your time. This has been such an honor, and I will cherish it. And yeah,
mm,
thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Let me know how else I can help. Talk to you soon.
Bye, Wei. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to Under the Sisterhood. We hope you will join us next episode to honor amazing women from around the world. This podcast is created and hosted by Under the Sisterhood, LLC, and Elizabeth Elfenbein, produced by Elizabeth Elfenbein and Zach Slaff, and edited by Zach Slaff. The music is by Ayla Schaefer. Her song, Rose.